Today we're talking about one of the most iconic romantic comedies of all time, Sabrina. Just saying the name makes me happy. Released in 1954, this movie is like cinematic magic, blending romance, transformation, and the most glorious fashion. So grab your cup of tea and let's take a deeper look into why Sabrina stands the test of time. For those who don't know me, hello. Sorry. My name is Cassidy Krieger and I am the founder of Hollywoodland Photos, which is an Instagram page, a TikTok channel, a YouTube channel dedicated to preserving the magic of old Hollywood. I think Sabrina is the perfect choice when talking about old Hollywood. It stars some of the greatest old Hollywood actors of all time, directed by one of the greatest old Hollywood directors of all time. It's perfect. So I can't wait to do this because when we talk about classic films, Sabrina always just keeps coming back, keeps popping up. It's because it's a film that feels timeless. It's a blend of romance and comedy and sophistication. It was, of course, directed by the wonderful, the great Billy Wilder and starring Audrey Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart and William Holden. Sabrina has everything you could want in a movie. It's stylish, it's witty, and it's got a really good heart. And while the love story at the centre of this film is certainly captivating, there's a lot more to it beneath the surface. At first glance, Sabrina probably seems like your average Cinderella story. You've got Sabrina Fairchild, the shy daughter of a chauffeur who's totally head over heels in love for David Larrabee, the charming younger son of a wealthy family. But she spent 2 years in Paris, and when she returns, she's no longer the same. Sabrina is transformed. She's confident, stylish, and suddenly she's got all the attention. But instead of David, she finds herself drawn to the older, more serious brother, Linus. This is where things get interesting because Linus isn't exactly the romantic type. The movie takes all the fairy tale tropes that we know and love and turns them on their head, giving us a love story that's actually about personal growth, family, and a love story that goes deeper than you would expect. As I said, this movie was directed by Billy Wilder, a guy known for pushing boundaries in Hollywood. Wilder wasn't just a director, he was a master at blending genres and making films that didn't just entertain but made you think. He was the man behind Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity, both of which were filled with sharp dialogue and dramatic moments. But with Sabrina, Wilder took a completely different approach. Now, let's talk about the performances for a second. As an actor, they're my favourite part of a film because they're as layered as the film itself. Audrey Hepburn, playing the title role of Sabrina, is perfect in this film. By 1954, Hepburn had become a star after her breakout role in Roman Holiday the year before in 1953. But Sabrina was a chance for her to show a new side of herself. She wasn't just a charming, innocent young woman anymore. In Sabrina, she was smart, sophisticated, and completely confident. Hepburn's portrayal of Sabrina felt so fresh and authentic, I think because it mirrored, in a way, her own rise in fame. She was in the midst of her own transformation, going from a European ingenue to an internationally recognised film and fashion icon. Hepburn wasn't the only one transforming in this film. In fact, Sabrina is as much about the transformation of the men in her life as it is about her own, which makes it really interesting because it's not just about the title character, it's about the other characters too. This is where the casting choice of Humphrey Bogart as Linus Larrabee is so fascinating. When you think about Humphrey Bogart, you think about the tough guy roles he's so well known for, Casablanca, the Maltese Falcon. So when Billy Wilder cast him as a stiff, no-nonsense older brother of David, it was a bit of a surprise. Initially, the role of Linus was supposed to go to Cary Grant, but Grant ultimately turned it down. So Wilder made the bold choice to cast Humphrey Bogart. And while Bogart was initially reluctant to take on the role, thinking it was too different from his tough guy persona, he brought something to Linus that made the character more complex and more interesting than he might have been with a different actor. But let's not forget the wonderful and incredible William Holden, who plays the character David Larrabee, the charming, carefree younger brother of Linus. David is everything Linus isn't. He's spontaneous, fun, and a bit of a playboy. He's the one that Sabrina had a crush on for years, and while he's more than happy to flirt with her, he's not the one who will make the grand gesture in the end. We know men like this. Raise your hand if you... Anyway... David's role in the film is important, though he represents the carefree, superficial side of love that Sabrina outgrows during the course of the film, and I think that we all outgrow as we get older. He's not a bad guy, he's just not the right guy for Sabrina. We can't talk about Sabrina without talking about the incredible fashion, because Audrey Hepburn's wardrobe in this movie is incredibly stunning. The collaboration between Hepburn and French designer Givenchy is legendary. And while Edith Head was initially tasked with creating the costumes for the film, it was Hepburn who pushed for Givenchy to be involved. And thank God she did, because the result is nothing short of iconic. Givenchy's designs perfectly capture Sabrina's transformation. When she returned from Paris, she's wearing sleek, elegant dresses that exude confidence. Edith Head, a seasoned designer, worked on many of the film's costumes, and her clean, classic designs added to Hepburn's incredible look. The combination of Head's technical expertise, she knew how to make costumes for film, and Givenchy's haute couture flair elevated Sabrina's wardrobe to another level. But the fashion in Sabrina isn't just about looking pretty. It's a visual representation of Sabrina's journey. Each outfit symbolizes a step in her evolution from that shy girl who can't make eye contact with David to the confident woman who walks into a room and commands attention. Hepburn's collaboration with Givenchy solidified her status as a global fashion icon, and the movie's costume design is still revered as one of the most stylish in cinematic history. And let's not forget a little bit of behind-the-scenes drama. While the film's glamorous surface might make it look like everything was very smooth, the reality was a slightly more complicated. Humphrey Bogart, as I mentioned before, wasn't very happy about doing a romantic comedy. In fact, he had serious doubts about playing Linus Larrabee. Bogart had a long history of playing tough and gritty characters in noir films, and he was unsure about stepping into a role that required him to portray someone vulnerable and someone that was romantic. And what's more, Bogart wasn't exactly excited about working with Billy Wilder, whose directing style was notoriously chaotic. Wilder was known for constantly rewriting scripts, improvising lines, and allowing actors a freedom to add their own spin to the characters. A lot of actors love this approach and is a part of Billy Wilder's genius. It didn't really sit well with Bogart, who preferred a more structured, controlled environment on set. Wilder's approach was challenging for actors, but especially for someone like Bogart, who was used to meticulous, detail-oriented work of noir directors like John Huston. Despite the tension, Wilder pushed Bogart to embrace his discomfort, using it to fuel his performance. And in the end, it paid off in spades. Bogart's frustration and reluctance helped to create a more layered, nuanced performance of Linus, a character who begins as a stiff, business-focused man, but gradually reveals an inner depth, an emotional depth, and a capacity for love. And although Bogart's initial misgivings about the film are well documented, Sabrina ended up being one of the most memorable roles of his career. When Sabrina was released in 1954, it was met with immediate critical acclaim and became a massive box office success. Audiences were captivated by the film's charming mix of romance, humour, and sophistication. Critics praised the chemistry between Hepburn and Bogart despite their off-screen tensions and acknowledged the seamless blend of wit and heart in Billy Wilder's direction. Upon its release, Sabrina became one of the highest-grossing films of 1954, and its success was solidified by several Academy Award nominations. The film had a lasting influence on Hollywood, particularly in romantic comedies, and its influence cannot be overstated. It became a cultural touchstone and set a new standard for how romance and comedy can coexist on screen. Over time, Sabrina has only grown, with modern audiences loving it as much as they did back in 1954. That's a wrap on our deep dive into Sabrina. What do you think? Do you still watch this classic film today? For me, it's a movie that I escape to quite a bit. I think it's such an escapism movie with how beautiful it is and how well acted it is and how well directed it is. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.